Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us on another edition of Viewpoint on DBS Television. It is always a pleasure having this moment with you to share issues pertaining Cameroon. And in tonight's edition, we'll be talking precisely concerning the two crisis-hit region by the crisis, that is the Northwest and the Southwest region. And to discuss about this, we are having with us here in the studio Professor Mark Anthony. He is a political analyst and a social anthropologist. It is not the first time that he is with us, and so he will be accompanying us again for another 26 to 30 minutes program. Good evening to you, Professor, and thank you very much for being part of us again.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, and to my fellow panelists,
Mange
Venasius, and to you million viewers out there watching at us this evening. I think it is another evening to get to discuss issues that concern our nation and how to give proposals on how we could move ahead. And I want to believe that it will be an educative evening.
Obviously. Mange Venasius, good evening, and it's a pleasure having you as well.
Good evening, Vanessa, and good evening to our viewers. Good evening to Professor Mark Anthony, and like he said, we believe that we are going to share with our viewers and in one way or another impact their life for a change, a positive change in Cameroon, Vanessa.
A positive change indeed. Let us take the first part of the show, that is the question and answer. Once more, you are welcome back. Can the Operation Keep Bamenda Clean campaign succeed in solving the security crisis in the region? Professor, I'll begin with you.
It can't.
It can't. Mange Venasius?
Yes, Vanessa, I think that it can.
It can. That is a yes. Yes. And is the approach by the Bamenda City Council to solve transportation problems practical? Professor?
It is not a practical solution.
It is not. Mange Venasius?
Yes, I share the same opinion. It is not practical.
It is not practical. Let us take the second part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. It's the debate. Can the Operation Keep Bamenda Clean campaign succeed in solving the security crisis in the region? Professor, you think that it's not going to help solve the security crisis, where the military has been deployed to search every nooks and crannies of the Northwest region, that is in the various neighborhoods of the region, to see how they could fish out some of those amber guys. So why do you think that it will not help solve the security issues if they have been brought out?
If the government of Cameroon believes that the crisis is an internal crisis and really intends to solve it, then it's not a military solution that can solve it. Why do I say so? What is tagged today as Operation Clean Bamenda is considered genocidal, because it seems as if a particular group of people have been targeted, because from the beginning of this particular operation, we have seen more innocent lives taken than the lives of the Amber Boys. And you can't be doing that and thinking you are solving the problem. Rather, you are radicalizing more persons. And the more they get radicalized, the more they join the Amber camp. And to me, as long as the government keeps on with this, because I was like asking questions, if in case we said we want to solve this problem and the military, I know that these guys have picked up arms against the state, that in itself is a kind of treason. But I believe that Cameroon, as we call, is a state of law. And if it is a state of law, these guys should be hunted and brought to book. Meaning that it is not in shooting them down. Like at times they arrest some of them, and before you discover at the end of the day, their lives are wasted. They are being killed. Who killed them? The more that continues, the more you radicalize the people. And I'm sincere that the people of the Northwest and the Southwest can never be cleaned off from Cameroon. You can't kill close to 5 to 8 million people because you think that you are solving a problem. I am saying this because the Amber Boys are not, in global sense, all of the Anglophones of the Northwest and Southwest. The Amber Boys are a group of young people who have picked up arms. But it seems now as if any young man or any male is in danger in Northwest region. That is not a means of solving the problem. If this is handled this way, we are waiting for another generation that is going to be more radical than this. Because the kids of most of those whom their parents have been killed will be growing with this in their heart. And what do you think will happen tomorrow? They will get worse. Some of them are in bushes as we are talking right now. They are not in. Some of them are practically growing in bush for close to 4 years.
Most of them maybe had to escape when the campaign was launched.
Yes. And so you don't expect that we should end up concluding that where this is a solution to a problem. It's not a solution. It is a means to either radicalize more persons and push them into the amber camp, or it is another plan to completely and neutralize or radicalize, or let me use the word eliminate males from the Northwest region, from Bamenda town. Because it is every young male now from the age of 10 is at risk. That is something that we can't accept. It is not something that should be accepted, neither by the government nor by any other person. And I don't know why things like that are happening, and the international body whom they claim that are out to solve problems have not been saying anything. And we, particularly in Cameroon, I don't know why the president have not spoken about it. I don't know why a governor, like I heard the governor Lele Afrique, actually saying it is not going to end in Bamenda. It is going to leave from Bamenda to the other regions, to the other divisions. I got disturbed because that is the administrator of that region endorsing a massive killing of Northwesterners in the name of clean up. What are you cleaning up? Sort these guys out. Arrest them. Let them be judged, not the killing. If you have noticed, once one military person is killed, it takes a series of killings by the military to make sure that situation is handled, so as to calm down their spirit. I don't know if they understand the importance of the blood of a human being. I'm talking both to the amber camp and to the military. The blood of a human being is very, very strong. You might not understand what it means to waste the life of a human being, but a human being is a sacred being that God himself has created. And if you kill one human being, it means that you are worse than I cannot explain. So to me, I don't think Operation Clean Bamenda is a solution.
All right, thank you very much. And from what the report from our correspondent tells us that a lot of people, scores of people have been arrested so far and taken to Yaoundé. Mangavenashus, you rather think that the Operation Keep Bamenda Clean is a way to solve the security crisis?
Yes, Vanessa, I hold the opinion that the operation, like they say, clean Bamenda, it was not necessarily to clean Bamenda, is not wipe out people from Bamenda. Because when you look at the terms that are used, figuratively speaking, when you are cleaning your dresses or you are cleaning your house, it does not necessarily mean you wipe out things from your house. You remove out what is not wanted from your house. And what is not wanted from your house is the dirt that you clean out. We are not saying that Bamenda men and women, they are dirt. But this crisis that has gone on for close to 4 years, October is coming up, will be practically, we're already. So it's practically 4 years. And when you ask the question, how far have we gone in solving the problem, you see that there is some, I don't want to call it duplicity somewhere. It's like the problem itself is evolving from one stage to the other, from one stage to the other. We have reached a situation where it is completely difficult. When Professor was speaking, he said they should identify these boys and at least remove them from the society and punish them. How do we identify them? Who is an amber and who is not an amber? That is where the problem lies. An amber is not an abnormal creature that you can easily identify. They don't wear uniform. Like when it comes to the military, it is easy to identify a military because of their outfit. Ambers, they are just like you and I. And once they tend to act in the way they are acting. So being unable to identify them, the military adopted the strategy to make sure that they should search room by room in the city of Bamenda to make sure that they identify cases of those who are. You know, the ambers are there is this blame game on both camps. In as much as the military is blaming the civilian population of conniving with the ambers are blaming the civilian population of conniving with the military.
And Mr. Venetius, the amber boys do not live in houses in the town.
Okay.
So if you want to clean that, locate where they are, not the town. When you start arresting young people from the town, inside the town, and killing some inside the town, you are not doing the job.
Okay, that is now an information in this in that sense. But then for us to come to that, the ambers do not live in town, but they have communication. That is why they have informants who are living in town, and the military is doing all in all to identify all those who cooperate with them, because if they identify you, you are a link to them. They can then get to them through you, who is a link. And to do that, it is not written on anybody's face that I cooperate with the ambers. No. The military has to find out such tactics. You know, we are talking about the military. It is not a civilian situation where they will come trying to negotiate with you. When the military comes out, they are not coming out. And remember, this is not police forces.
And that is where we have a problem.
This is not the police forces.
Because it is not a solution, a military solution with civilians. No, they were not supposed to. That's why I started by saying that if the government realized that it's an internal crisis, then they have the right people. They should send the military, the police and the gendarmes
into the
field to settle it, not the military. The military goes out to shoot and kill. So when they send the military, they have already defined what they want. And that is where I said it's not a solution.
But Prof, we should face the reality here that if we have to rely on the police force and the gendarme force in Cameroon, they will not survive. That is why they are having this backup from the military. Because these boys, they are not just simply criminals or rocks out there in the field. They are armed, and some of them are armed with latest equipment.
Armed but untrained.
That's another
point. And the police is well trained to handle such situations. You can't give a gun to a person who is untrained, and then a person who is trained is unable to deal with him. So you can't claim that this is a situation that is out of hand. The police and the gendarme. And when we talk of gendarme in Cameroon, the gendarme are military. They are military. And they have a police duty. So they are fit to handle the crisis. So when we look at it, I think that it's necessary that we should be speaking and trying to give this government an orientation, because we can't be talking and backing up their position when we realize that things are not going well. We are seeing a situation where Cameroonians are being killed every day because they have sent the wrong people to solve the problem. You can't send the military, in quote, to go and clean Bamenda. The military they have one solution.
One target.
They are shooting to kill. So send people who have that ability to police persons. They are the ones who can investigate. They are the ones who can identify who is who. But when it comes to the military, as long as one person is dead from their camp, everybody around that environment needs to die.
It's an enemy. Okay, right, that's true, Prof. But then the issue is, it is a call. Remember, Viewpoint is also a platform in which we educate those who follow us that the population needs to cooperate with the forces of defense and security to make sure that we succeed in, because I don't think that there's anybody in Bamenda who loves the climate in which we are now. There's nobody.
I am with you in that
so for us to have peace, to come back to where we were before 2016, it is preferable that the population cooperate with the forces of defense and security so that we could have back the peace that we enjoyed in Bamenda. I remember at one point here, once you stayed out of Bamenda or out of the village for up to 1 year, you were feeling like you are not you. You needed to go back to have this, this catch up from the village. But then now you can live here for 5 years and you cannot even step your feet into the village again. I think that let us make these two regions habitable, because those who do not live in this village may not understand what is happening in the villages. So I think that the population needs to cooperate. If they cooperate, I remember I was listening to the mayor, the city mayor of Bamenda, who was telling the population that they have to go through this suffering because this is a bitter pill they will have to swallow to cure the crisis.
And that is wrong governance, because the lives of the people are constantly in danger, both in the hands of the Amber Boys and the hands of the military. And so they are the crossroad.
So, Manga Venashus, I would like to know, when these guys are being fished out, would that solve the crisis completely? Would that bring the security threat to an end?
If we believe that...
Because a lot of these young men are being arrested.
If we believe that the crisis, the insecurity in the northwest and southwest region is caused by the Amber Boys, and we succeed in isolating them, the answer is automatic.
Can I come in there? I believe that crisis was not caused by Amber Boys. Amber Boys are a resultant consequence of a problem that was already on play.
Okay.
And so you go solve the roots of the problem if you want to quench the Amber Boys. So I don't see why we should be killing human beings when we could solve the problem without killing even a fly.
Anyone. All right.
The government needs to deal with the problem as fast as possible.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your contribution. The second question is the approach by the Bamenda City Council to solve transportation problems practical. Manga Venashus, I think I will begin with you. You think that is not practical by bringing some buses in order to help the civilian population in Bamenda move from one place to the other by the city mayor? Do you think that it will be able to solve the problem after banning commercial motorbikes from circulating?
Not at all, Vanessa. We're talking about the approach, and the approach is the mayor has introduced, how do they call them again?
Ultra-modern buses.
Ultra-modern buses to facilitate transportation within the city of Bamenda. I think that it is for somebody who knows, not only in Bamenda, nobody can attempt in Cameroon to tell us that we put away the commercial bike riders because we want to bring ultra-modern buses. Douala Yaoundé they don't even ultra ultra-modern buses. Then Bamenda will have ultra-modern. And if you even see images of these ultra-modern buses, you will tend to understand what it means. The thing is, we are bringing cosmetic solutions into this problem, solutions that if we apply them, we know. Ask the city mayor of Bamenda, he knows that the solution is cosmetic. He knows that the solution cannot solve what they have created. We are living in a country, like we were saying in the first issue, that there is insecurity. We are talking of the presence of Amber Boys. These Amber Boys are not foreigners who came into Bamenda or northwest or southwest or northwest regions. These Amber Boys are not people from Spain. They are Bamenda's sons and daughters. Some of them, out of frustration, they went into these camps. Some of them, out of lack of employment, they went into this camp. Some of them out of, because they were seduced by those in the diaspora, they went into it. Now we are instead adding the number of the Amber Boys, because Vanessa will tell you that if there were 10 young men in Bamenda, around 4, if not 5 and 6, were involved with commercial bike riders. That is what that was their source of livelihood. They have their families, they feed their families, they send their children to school out of commercial bike riders. And then we think that solving the crisis that is in the two regions is to block commercial bike riders. Where would those boys go to? Where are we sending them to when they will become unemployed? The rate of will they not turn into thieves? Would they not also take arms? Because it is this government that has pushed them out of what their source of livelihood. I think that the mayor should come back to reason and understand that it is not the stopping of commercial bikes from within Bamenda that will solve the crisis. They are instead creating another crisis, another complicated issues that may drag on, that they may not even be able to solve it. I don't think that the ultra-modern buses that they are talking of would be able to save the Bamenda population. You used to stand at Commercial Avenue and take a bike that will drop you at Foncha Street and even beyond. A bike that goes into the neighborhood, into the quarters. Will these ultra-modern buses move like that? How many more ultra-modern buses are in Bamenda? Is Bamenda a kind of one lane, you know, that the ultra-modern bus, how many are they? Douala, that is 3 times, I mean, the capital of the city, or the revenue of the city, Douala city. That is 3, 4, 5 times that of Bamenda. They are not able to provide, how do you call it, urban transportation for the population. Then Bamenda will provide it. Let us be realistic. The mayor knows that what he has done, he has created more harm than good in what he has done. It cannot solve the situation.
All right, Professor, your take on that?
When some of these guys sit in their comfortable rooms and as the Frenchman say, climatisé, they take decisions as if they are taking dope. Why do I say so? It is funny that an individual whom might be is living well, practically might be living in Bafoussam. I'm not saying he's living in Bafoussam.
And Professor, he is living in state under, you know, on the taxpayers' money, because he has a car. It's a state car, fueled with a driver, paid by the government.
And probably guarded now.
And of course, he has about 3 to 4 people guarding him.
With that kind of environment in which he lives in, he gets up. Like Vanicius actually said, more than 5,000 young people have been actually unemployed, set to unemployment, because one greedy man thinks that if he brings in bosses, it will be giving money to the council at the detriment of the employment of those young people. So telling them that go back and sit at home without giving them a job is committing a crime. And that is another means of pushing them, like Vanicius actually said, to get to involve with these armed guys. I do not understand why some of those whom we have selected, that is somebody, is not a government delegate that we think that will work against the people, or maybe because he wants to fulfill the agenda of the government. That is a city mayor, implying that he has been elected. And once you are elected by a people, you are supposed to work for the good of the people if you are thinking of tomorrow. Okay, just look at the case of the Kumba mayor, whom now needs to still go for re-election. If he is the one that did such a thing, what do you think the councillors will do? They will refuse to elect him, because every councillor is elected by the people of a particular quarter to go and make sure he makes good decisions for their benefit. And by the time they arrive there, because they are now like a should I call it parliament, they need to go make the right decisions for the good of the people. You go and elect somebody who will come back and punish you. That to me is punishment, because you can't tell these young people. I looked at Yaoundé. Look at Yaoundé. Yaoundé is a city, big as it is. It is true there are some particular areas where bikes have been restricted from entry. Douala, the same thing around Bonanjo. But it doesn't mean that they have told the boys no bikes in the city. That is a problem. The city of Bamenda is a city that, to be sincere, the people are just struggling. Then, if you want the people to be with you, I think that the best way to do is to walk along with them. And so that particular solution problem, or should I say, yes, that approach to bring in shuttles or buses, as you call them, ultra modern buses, when I saw that yellow thing that he created there, I don't think it's ultra modern, because that's just a normal bus. How many people, how many persons can enter there? I think we have in Douala here this how they call them, Sokatu. Sokatu is big, it can take many persons, but yet bikes are still in Douala, and buses are still in Douala. Taxis are still in Douala. It is not stopping this from operating. So ask this city mayor, is he looking for a way to fund the crisis to continue, or is he looking for a way to solve it? Because from what I am seeing, he is funding and increasing the ranks of the Amber Boys by choosing to employ some of these young people whom were self-employed. They did not come to ask him to give them money. They didn't ask him to give them a bike.
They
bought their bike. They didn't even come to say, give us a job. They bought their bikes and went to the streets looking for their money, and that has been a distraction to many of them to an extent where they don't even think about what is happening. It's not because some Amber Boys use bikes to come into the city and commit crimes that they should ban all motorbikes from operating in the city. That is a wrong approach. It's a very wrong approach, and so we can't claim that that will end up solving the problem. It's not a practical solution.
All right.
So to me, he needs to revisit that and be able to make sure he looks into the employment situation of those youths he has stopped from running bikes.
All right, thank you very much, Professor. He needs to revisit that. And Mangavenashus, your closing word?
Actually, Vanessa, I would rather think that if we have elected representatives in the northwest regions, I'm talking about the northwest regions, in particularly in Mizam constituency, it is high time that those parliamentarians and senators, they sit up and talk to the mayor. The mayor is not, even the president does not have any right to take any decision like that in the country. Yes. No, the president doesn't. Because that is why in developed countries, a president passes a bill to the parliament for them to examine the constitutionality of that bill before applying it. You don't just get up in the morning and a region that has been considered by the government as a region with an economically distressed region. So much so that some taxes, in fact, taxes have been, cancelled from this region to encourage employment, to encourage, setting up of enterprises.
Yeah,
investment, actually. Then those who have decided to self-employ themselves, you are coming to send them home. Where would they go to? I think that it's high time we should revisit the idea, like Professor was saying, and then see how to solve it. It doesn't mean that because A used this means in committing a crime, then everybody using the means to commit a crime. In cities like Douala and Yaoundé, they have banned commercial motorbikes. In Bamenda, it means even if I have a bike, I cannot go to Commercial Avenue with my bike. It is not only commercial motorbikes. Service bike, personal bikes, they are not allowed within the Commercial Avenue. They are not allowed within, in fact, the central town. When you look at the prohibition within the central town, what are we doing? Who are we punishing? The Amber Boys or the civilian population? Are we antagonizing? That is why somebody said, within the government, there are some government officials who would not want to see this crisis come to an end. Yes. They would like that the crisis should continue. And when you look at solutions like this, you tend to ask, is it solving the situation or funding the situation to continue? Vanessa, that should be my last word.
Thank you very much, Mangavenashus. Professor, it has been a pleasure having you. Thank you for your contributions.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. And I will still repeat this to the city mayor of Bamenda, that if you really want to be a people's person, it is necessary you learn the principles on how to work with people than working against them, because there are some things that make people to feel like some of you are actually out there to increase or say to flame the crisis that is already ongoing rather than looking for solutions. And at the end of the day, your lives are preserved and protected by military people, and you have money you are being paid every month, and you have a car that you're running, so you are not even the one. You are buying buses and bringing into the city for the purpose of might be to increase your value, to increase your wealth, not necessarily the city's council's wealth, because some of you place those things like that and you have about 50% out of it that goes into your personal bank account rather than entering into the city bank account. So we should do things at times that will be necessary to help people, not to kill people.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the package that we prepared for you. Thank you very much for watching. Like they rightly said, we are out to educate and probably give solutions to the crisis ongoing in the northwest and the southwest region. See you tomorrow, God willing. Goodbye.